Oh. Yay. Sorry, this is insanity. I would never show this, but it's like taking a photo, a selfie in front of a dirty house or a mirror or something. Let me get this over. I promise. This is not a... I know, dude. It's just today, man. It's today. It's today. Relax, bro. Don't judge. Oh, where does this go? Here we go. All right. Get this one. Hello, everybody. My name is Matt. I'm a product manager for Skyscanner in our B2B, or business product. I'm the product manager for Whitelabel in our newly formed widget squads. I will have to say I was going to show you some cool widget stuff, but I got to scale it back pretty drastically. There's not as much as I was able to show you, so we're working on some cool things. If you're curious, I'm happy to share it when they're ready. So got a little bit, something for everybody. Just to start out, really about me really quickly, some recent numbers, Whitelabel and widget overview by product, because we're not B2C, so we have a different mission. Scaling, adding some features, and actually an epiphany/realization. As I've been a product manager now for just over a year, so we'll share some of that. We'll also just discuss some, what's next, really, and then also over to Ross. So really quickly, first thing first, I'm sorry if any of you thought Matt Smith, the BBC presenter, or Doctor Who was actually going to show up. Sorry, it's just an American guy from Ohio who now lives in Britain. About me, I'm not a product manager at all. I will be the first guy to tell you I know nothing about engineering. I know nothing about web design other than my basic class that I ever took. I started my career in working as a Virginia House of Delegates race, so this is just like local like Scottish elections, but in Virginia. Moved over to the United States Senate, working in communications, worked for a United States Senator who's now gone, voted against him twice even, so loyalty means nothing to me. Worked about 4 or 5 years in the airline business, which is where I really got my passion for travel and really like taking care of people. I worked in every possible job you could ever imagine, and the non-technical, non-management roles, airports, ticketing. I worked below the wing. I even cleaned out the laboratories on occasion. Great stories there. And I always have to give a plug for my former university. So the last time the university was mentioned in Britain, it was for the Antonin Scalia School of Law, which is short for asshole. True story, look it up on the BBC. That's my old university, just want to say, awesome, yeah. So I originally hailed from Ohio. I moved all over the United States, so I have a bit of a wonky accent now. I've been here about 5 years, 4 of which I've been, well, it's been a pleasure to call Skyscanner home. And the last 4 years have been in SEO, content marketing, content strategy, and finally moved to product management. And while I have really no cool product, or not cool product, but cool technology, inspirational quotes, I kind of live by Hunter S. Thompson. Anybody know who Hunter S. Thompson is? Yeah, all right, good, awesome. I just kind of go by the mantra of just buy the ticket and enjoy the ride, because I don't think there's really a right way to do this stuff. So hope you don't mind me saying that, but yeah, I think that's how it is. First, go over some recent numbers for B2B, Skyscanner for Business. But first, before we do that, good old Skyscanner. So a lot of you, again, Russell talked about this previously, and some of you might already know the numbers, but these are just some updated numbers from Skyscanner. So we're at about 10 global offices now. So we have offices in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Barcelona, Budapest, London, Sofia, Miami, Beijing, Tokyo, which is a joint operation with Yahoo Japan, Shenzhen, and Singapore. We have over 50 nationalities. Hey, I'm American. Also British. 120 million in revenue last year. 12 million pricing sessions we do per day now. And 5 billion quotes archived since the beginning of 2015. So this is a pretty staggering amount of information we pass on a daily basis. Going into Skyscanner again, 50 million unique visitors, 40 million app downloads, 45 available markets. and obviously the Sequoia invested 800 million valuation. Yeah, so B2B, or Skyscanner for Business. We started in 2014, so moved to, been doing business for quite a while. We've hit a really, really big spike in the last year, year and a half. We've been doing amazing. We've gone up to about 600 partners, and this includes partners for our API, our white labels, and these are different products, but I'm here to speak about the white label. We support 30 different languages, currencies, including Arabic, which is actually an awesome win for us, being able to have Arabic. Some of the other parts of the company are kind of pushing to move ahead with Arabic as well, so that was our big victory. We do about 350,000 requests per day at 15,000 an hour for requests. So we're a little bit different in terms of size compared to the rest of Skyscanner. Skyscanner for Business is really kind of broken up into 4 different tools. So we have our travel APIs that are available to anybody. You can go onto the site now and sign up for a nice little travel API. Our white label, which white label is well, I'll go into more detail. Travel widgets, again, I'll go into more detail. Travel Insight, we actually have our PM here. Woo! Hey, Stefan. Travel rankings and partner analytics are a part of the packages we have here as tools for Skyscanner. So here really to talk about the white label and affiliate products. So let's first, we like to think of ourselves as 2 small little entities inside of the bigger B2B umbrella. We have 5 engineers, 1 designer, 1 product manager. I might add that the designer and product manager, me and the designer, she shares her time with the other squads as well. So we're even really smaller than that on paper. But we managed to do some really amazing things across 2 countries. And I get to go to Sofia and warm up once a month, which is awesome. Our affiliate program is pretty simple at the moment. We're making some pretty big changes this year. At the moment, it's simply a travel widget that you can go in and make some changes. It includes flights, cars, and hotels. It's very simple to implement. It's in lots and lots of different languages. And yeah, quite frankly, it's quite simple to put up. We're working on making some changes and having it available to sign up pages in different languages. So there'll be some cool things coming up soon. White label, it's pretty flexible. I think the best way to describe it is if anyone uses WordPress or they use any of the other, like TypePad, those sorts of things, it's really simple. It's like we're actually doing this for travel, so we have the same sort of simple implementation for travel. And it's very easy to set up your own white label. It's very easy to complement your existing content or different parts of your site and actually create some travel in there as well. So we have partners like MSN, Lonely Planet, Groupon are some of the guys that call us partners. So yeah. Actually, this is the fun part because this is something I really like talking about and I don't have to run through and speed through. Because this is what I do and this is what I've done for the last year, so I'm really happy to talk about the good things and also the grim things too. So kind of the way I see it is like we've been doing some scaling, we've added some features, and then at the end we've come to a really clear realization. And the first thing is, no numbers here, sorry, no context, can't show that. But our traffic, as you can see, has gone up repeatedly throughout the course of this particular screen capture. Our conversion rate, in this screen capture goes really well as well. But bear with me, I think I can kind of explain some things that we've done, and it's really not about the numbers, it's more or less about the ride, I think, the things that we've done along the way. So when I think about all the white label partners have, and these are just some of the different uses and the different cases for this, everyone's going and jamming straight into this search function. And all of our partners have all this functionality. So they have things like currency, languages. They can choose lots and lots of different things. And I'm of the opinion that actually people have different needs on top of those sites. So it's very hard to think about, okay, not only one person in the room, but like up to 70. And then to understand how that individual website reacts and where their entry points are, how they interact with our white label, it gets very, very difficult and very complicated. So I can't make a solution for millions of people. I can make a solution that millions of people can use. It's very easy for our partners to actually implement great functionality for their users because they know them better than I do. So if you think about what Skyscanner's hierarchy of needs, and I refer back to this because I think it's important. So we have 300 plus partners. And each of those guys have different needs, and the needs and the hierarchy of each of the partners' needs are going to differ greatly. And sometimes we can accomplish some of this, and sometimes we can't. And that's kind of where this is where I think it gets interesting. And so, I'm a Big Lebowski fan, so I always wanted to put a presentation with a slide with a Big Lebowski reference in it. So I did it anyways. So I think there are a lot of people that when I go out, when we develop these things with our partners, we like to we like to accommodate everybody because we're new. We wish we could do everything. If somebody comes along and says, "Hey, I'd love you to do this integration." Oh my God, this is great. Let's do this. Oh wait, we can't because we can't physically be in every place at the same time, and we can't accommodate all requests. So it's kind of a bummer, but that's an opinion, and that's something we got to. But I'll tell about an instance where we think, well, that theory proved itself correct. So we have a white label that's being used all over the world that is entirely flexible. And I'll just show this one example. This is an example of a test that we're running with some of our Japanese colleagues. And they're testing out some different ways and different functions and placing things in different locations and also using different colors. Okay, so we're even using our white label differently internally. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this one. So we were having a really big think about how we could accommodate every single person, millions of different people. And there's just no possible way we could get to this size. I mean, it's amazing that we're getting this far. We're scaling this quickly, and the expectations of our product are increasing as the days go by. And you can see that in the previous results. So what we did is I sat around thinking, like, what are we going to do? What's next? How do we prioritize things? And this guy wants this, and this person wants this, but we need to make some quick changes. And the change that I'd refer to is back here. So the example is, if you look at the filters and the sliders, I really didn't like using those things. When I first saw it, I was like, this is really complicated. This is hard to use. I don't understand this. Can we make this change? And we did some numbers. So what we did is we took a white label user journey, and I can't say I credit myself for any of this. This is a great BI guy named Chris. Chris is phenomenal. And he has a way of putting data in a way that I could never even imagine. I just come to him and say, I need this. How do I do this? So what we did is we created this, and we put all these marbles are people, and these are 3,000 people. And we can see over time, and I won't play it because I can't go into that much detail, but you can kind of see what we're looking at. So things like our passengers, our exit rates, our redirects, like what booking. So a lot of these things we have to consider. And if we really think about it, okay, man, this is a lot. This is just 3,000, but what about millions of people that we can accommodate? I don't know how we can do this. So then we started doing trying to figure out trends from this data. So we're like, okay, what does this thing look like? How does this person book? But the beauty of this is this isn't even that cool, because actually the beauty of this is these experiences and these user journeys can differ by partner. This is what's so fascinating about this to me, is that we've got to solve these problems for everybody. And it's very difficult to look at this and to develop one of these per partner. It's really crazy, the scale that you have to do things. And those are the kinds of problems we're now working on. So when we think about the journeys, then I went, okay, how can we change that? So the filters, again, going back to the filters, how do we look at these filters, and how do we make a simple change that could make a difference that wouldn't tick off 300 plus partners? So this is, I think, where it kind of gets interesting. So we have these current positions and the old white label setup. And if I could even visually describe, the white label pops up, and there's this big gap between the filters and then the first results, and it would kind of go down. And just looking at it, it's like, oh man, how do we fix this? How do we make this in a way that's really simple? How do I make this something that you want to use and you're excited to use? One of the measures that I always look at is, I wish I could just show somebody something, and if they get a smile on their face, it's probably something you're doing right. That's kind of how I've learned this. And when I talk to people, if they get excited about something, it probably means that they actually genuinely like it. So I looked at loads of the different options and the filters that we had in place for like max stops, airports, airlines, sorting, your trip duration, and connecting airports. And we were like, what if we changed everything? What if we made the icons simpler? What if we did loads and loads of things? And we eventually got to that, and we used all the journeys there. And I wish I could go and show you the more detailed, like, private information, but I can't. But let's just say a lot of thought went into it, and we looked at it and went, wow, this is pretty clear. We need to make some changes here. And if we can change that profile, and we looked at the buttons that people press, and it's like, if this person clicks this, they're likely to convert. And this is the profile of what we think people would on a massive scale, use to convert. And those are the options. So we changed around the direction. You can see, number 2 went to number 5. Number 3 went to number 2, because those are most important to people. And those are what we ended up using. So we run these brand new search, like the filter results. And I wish I could go and show these further. I didn't know if the internet connection would be reliable, but you can push on the max stops and airlines and duration, and there's now more of a choice. And a lot of our users and a lot of our partners users, I should say, reacted quite nicely to this. Like, we thought, okay, our original opinion was, if we did this, if we make this change, how likely are we to see the events change in a drastic way, if at all? And what are the ways I think that we can get people to just interact with them? Could we see these people actually interact with them and see the increase? And sure enough, we did. And I have some numbers, but I can't really show you what they mean. Sorry. But let's just say those mean something in the context of filters. And these are the things that the theories that we had were, okay, if I make a massive, massive change to loads and loads of people, how do I do it with our users, and then also how do I make it approved by our partners? Because that's the other sell. So the users may like it, but the partner is even harder to sell. So what we did is, each of these have different meanings. So again, I can't really describe exactly what they are, but rest assured, it's something. The ones that are really important, the ones that we wanted, are down, and they're increasing in the usage. And as a result, we saw a pretty nice increase. Our conversion rates were up much higher than previously expected. And we saw, I think it was a 2 or 3% just in the one little change. And it was pretty massive. And what we ended up seeing were loads of people that would have traditionally, so what we were looking for, just seeing if people would interact with the filters. Now we see people interacting with filters, but in addition to interacting with them, some people don't interact at all, and they just kind of leave, which is great because we actually can qualify these people a little bit more now. So we're actually seeing more qualified users coming through. It didn't change the behavioral profile at all, and people, the feedback that we got, we did a nice little human, about 10, 12 different people, and people were very excited. They're like, wow, these are great. I can actually see the filters now. This is a huge difference. This is a massive change. And so while all this is great, and again, thinking in the context of, wow, we just made these changes, let's do more. And I have to admit, like, okay, so just so you know, I'm a huge Bernie Sanders fan, but I really like this photo because I think it kind of captures like what we're doing. So we built this cool product, and we're like, man, this is great. All these people want to use it. Let's accommodate everybody. And you can't possibly physically shake anybody's hand. You can't interact with everybody. And you can't keep up with the pace. So this kind of goes into where we're up to next. And this is a great thing to be in. I think this gives me chills thinking about it, because this is a good problem to have. The people actually want to use your thing, and you're like, wow, how do I accommodate everybody? So what we're doing next is kind of thinking about our white label as a canvas. So if I think about WordPress and I go even further, and I go, okay, well, what if one person wants this feature? What if they want this functionality, but another guy doesn't? Because we have that now. And we built a feature editor that will allow certain partners to have certain functions and certain features. But what if we took it even further, and we're not the gatekeeper anymore? What if we took it further, and we're able to provide a really nice, flexible solution for people to put in their own things that are really important to their own users? Because at the end of the day, we have two different paths, I think. One is a partner that wants to go to Skyscanner, and they're totally cool with, oh man, let's get our traffic to Skyscanner. We love Skyscanner, and that's awesome. That's what we want to build. But we also want to respect our partners. We also want to respect their ecosystem that they develop, whether it's a content platform or whether it's a trip planning. We want to respect that. And if we didn't have this really flexible white label, they may not want to be partners. Who knows? And I don't want to play that guessing game. I want those guys to be in control of their own destiny. I want them to be able to test things, because I can't A/B test 350 different partners at this scale already. It's It's crazy, but it's a good problem to have. So one of the things that we're also trying to build is respecting for the respective ecosystems and making sure that our partners have what they need to keep referring traffic. So this is kind of a bootleg image, but whatever, just bear with me. This is something we're working on that we're hopefully implementing very soon for some partners, but it allows our partners to connect content and make content contextually relevant to anything and travel. So if they want to show something on a content site or on a trip planning site, that image, that paragraph, that story can now be relevant in the sense of travel. Instead of good old dirty URLs, we're actually creating a nice little thing that people can place on their site and scale at just amazing rates. So more on that one. I can't really say much about it because it's very, very soon to being delivered. But then also what's next for our white label is it's very clean. It's very clean. And we want to be able to provide a lot more functionality. But Meta right now is great. But it's at a point now where we need to be more we're kind of a product comparison is where we need to go. So the market now in Meta is about price comparison, but it's going to have to kind of change and evolve. And so by doing that, we want to be able to create a product comparison. So in other words, like this 45-pound fare to Gatwick from Edinburgh, well, what does that get me? Like, how much am I going to get for this? Like, is that a free bag? Is this just a, standalone fare? I don't know what that means. And so for us, this is what we want to be able to do. So from here on out, if a partner wants to have functionality that is important to their user base, we'll let them have it. And that's what we need to build. So right now, we're trying to build the things that will help us keep going faster. And by going faster, to quote the great Hunter S. Thompson, is my favorite, faster, faster until the thrill of speed overcomes the fear of death. So we're moving faster, and we're trying to do it in a way that we're no longer afraid, that we're just letting things happen. And when they happen, we'll respond to them accordingly. We'll have everything we need in place. But we're also ready to address the needs of a growing market. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I put Ross's mug in here, but thought I'd put it in there. Warning, if you follow me on Twitter, I occasionally post about Bernie Sanders. Apologies, but yeah, that's my only caveat. Thank you very much.